Islam is the second largest religion in India, with 14.2% of the country's population, approximately 172.2 million people, identifying as adherents of Islam in the 2011 census. It makes India the country with the largest Muslim population outside Muslim-majority countries. The majority of Indian Muslims belong to the Sunni sect of Islam, while the Shia form a sizable minority. Islam in India existed in communities along the Arab coastal trade routes on the western shoreline of India, particularly in Gujarat and Malabar, as soon as the religion originated, and had gained early acceptance in the Arabian Peninsula, though the first incursion through sea by the new Muslim successor states of the Arab world occurred around 636 CE or 643 AD. During the Rashidun Caliphate, long before any Arab army reached the frontier of India by land. The Barwada Mosque in Ghogha, Gujarat, built before 623 CE. Chairman Jumma Mosque in Methala, Kerala, and Paliya Jumma Palli in Kilakarai, Tamil Nadu are three of the first mosques in India which were built by seafaring Arab merchants. Islam arrived in the inland of Indian subcontinent in the 7th century when the Arabs conquered Sindh, and later arrived in North India in the 12th century via the Ghurids conquest, and has since become a part of India's religious and cultural heritage. The Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal Empire have ruled most of South Asia and the Bengal Sultanate. The Deccan Sultanates and the Sur Empire have played major economic and political roles. The peak of the Islamic rule in India was marked under the Sharia and proto-industrialized reign of Emperor Aurangzeb, the world's largest economy, upon the compilation and establishment of the Fatawa al-Mghiri. The reintroduction of further Islamic policies by Mysore King Tipu Sultan and Arakkal Kingdom, based at Kannur, contributed to South Indian culture. The Hyderabad state ruled by the Nizams served as the last self-governing princely state of India, until its annexation by the Dominion of India. Over the centuries, there has been significant integration of Hindu and Muslim cultures across India, and Muslims have played a notable role in the economics, politics, and culture of India. The vast majority of the Muslims in India belong to South Asian ethnic groups. However, some Indian Muslims were found with detectable, traceable, minor to some levels of gene flow from outside, primarily from the Middle East and Central Asia. However, they are found in very low levels. Sources indicate that the castes among Muslims developed as the result of the concept of kaffa. Those who are referred to as ashrafs are presumed to have a superior status derived from their foreign Arab ancestry, while the ajlafs are assumed to be converts from Hinduism and have a lower status. Many of these ulema also believed that it is best to marry within one's own caste. The practice of endogamous marriage in one's caste is strictly observed in India. In two of the three genetic studies referenced here, in which is described that samples were taken from several regions of India's Muslim communities, it was again found that the Muslim population was overwhelmingly similar to the local non-Muslims, associated with some having minor but still detectable levels of gene flow from outside, primarily from Iran and Central Asia, rather than directly from the Arabian Peninsula. A research regarding the comparison of Y chromosomes of Indian Muslims with other Indian groups was published in 2005. In this study, 124 Sunnis and 154 Shias of Uttar Pradesh were randomly selected for their genetic evaluation. Other than Muslims, Hindu higher and middle caste group members were also selected for the genetic analysis. Out of 1021 samples in this study, only 17 samples showed a haplogroup, and all of them were Shias. The very minor increased frequency, however, does place these Shias, solely with regards to their haplogroups, closer to Iraqis, Turks and Palestinians. Trade relations have existed between Arabia and the Indian subcontinent since ancient times. Even in the pre-Islamic era, Arab traders used to visit the Konkan Gujarat coast and Malabar coast, which linked them with the ports of Southeast Asia. Newly Islamized Arabs were Islam's first contact with India. Historians Eliot and Dowson say in their book The History of India, as told by its own historians, that the first ship-bearing Muslim travelers were seen on the Indian coast as early as 630 CE. H. G. Rawlinson in his book Ancient and Medieval History of India claims that the first Arab Muslims settled on the Indian coast in the last part of the 7th century CE. This fact is corroborated by J. Starak in his Madras District Manuals and by Haridas Bhattacharya in Cultural Heritage of India. Vol. IV. It was with the advent of Islam that the Arabs became a prominent cultural force in the world. Arab merchants and traders became the carriers of the new religion and they propagated it wherever they went. According to P.O.